without the coach, I just don't do it. And I think that's something I'd love you guys to address a little bit, of just the basic dynamics of showing up and getting it done, and that accountability that comes from having a coach.
I mean, I would jump in to say we're naturally wired for comfort. That's just who we are as people. So when you don't have that outside perspective or someone to get you out of what you perceive to be comfortable, we're going to always default. And it's not any one person's problem. It's how we're designed. We want to know that we're safe. That's the basic science of our brain and how it operates. So a coach in any arena is just that person that gives you a little bit of like, if I commit to you, I sometimes don't want to show up for me, but I'm going to show up for you.
Yeah.
And just getting there sometimes is half the battle. And once you're there, you create that momentum, and that momentum allows you to start, executing what it is that. So a coach is, when people ask me, why do I want to coach? I typically respond with, why wouldn't you want to coach? And they're like, that's interesting. So it's just something that for me, we just got to understand how we're wired, how we're designed. And if we want to accomplish something that we don't quite understand what it is, we need that perspective and that drive and that push.
And again, I'm going to call it what it is. You guys know I'm highly pragmatic. I think the fact of the matter is, if I am able to not have that accountability, then I'm left with a couple of things: rationalization and excuses. And that gets into many other things that are darker and deeper from that point on, which is blaming someone else, blaming my circumstances. And then then it's envy and all those kinds of things take over a person. And the same person with the same potential and talent becomes not the greatest version of themselves, a more broken and bent version of it. Because at the end of the day, the reason I'm heavy is I have family members who are heavy. I have genetics that are predisposed to that. I'm in America. The Irish food is different than the American food. My body retains ice cream. That was the Zig Ziglar line. All the different things. And the next thing you know, I'm a victim. And the next thing you know, I'm entitled. And the next thing you know, I'm over here, and I have all these justifications for all that stuff other than hire the coach, eat right, exercise, get your sleep, and you're transformed. And, so we know that. And I think maybe Dave or Misty, you could talk a little bit about the excuse factor and how we work through that.
I'd love to chime in here. I do believe that a lot of people look at coaching for the accountability, and it is a huge part of coaching.
Right.
But to me, it's so much bigger than that, because it's holding people capable, not just accountable.
Yeah.
And that is really leaning into what they want, what their goals are, what their motivations are, just what you were talking, Brian, the deeper issues that come up.
Right. And
we can't see our own stuff. Even when we want to, even when we're looking in the mirror, we can't see our own stuff.
Right.
And there are different styles of coaches. You could see it here.
Yeah.
But somebody to have a crucial conversation with you with grace and kindness, to be much more than accountability, is where the real magic happens.
Right. Well, in the second part of this interview today, we're going to break this up into two parts. In the second part of this interview, I want to get to the sexy stuff, which is, we talked about drawn out potential and fulfilling becoming all we're capable of being, and that aspirational side of coaching, which is, by the way, where the gravy is, what we all got involved with. But I want to call the turkey to start with, right? And I'm talking about excuses, and I'm talking about avoidance, and I'm talking about accountability to show up, because that's level one, right? You got to be accountable first to get to be what you're capable of.